So my plan is to pull the pan off and weld I just drilled a hole, and I'm gonna weld it back shut once the pan's off, and this way I don't have to fight with a full pan. But there's something wrong with that transmission fluid, something very wrong. It's like pink, foamy. The only way moisture gets into your transmission like that is through the transmission cooler. Well, boy, you see, that's all wrong. So, yeah, I know that it hasn't really gotten driven very far. Like, no one ever got it going. So, ugh. Anyways, maybe the transmission works, but we're not even going to try and go anywhere with that garbage in it. And that's where we're at with the transmission. Nice transfer case though, huh? I don't know what that is in this. I was curious what this transmission is. I was looking these things up. Rear end looks good. Frame rails, you see, there's no rot on the frame rails. Somebody minimized the exhaust system on this vehicle. That's alright. I think we have something we can get an exhaust system off of for it. This is where there's a little bit of rust. The front and rear floorboard on the driver's side is bad. But we were able to get the seat in. So that's good. And the cab mounts, they're fine. You know, this frame rail looks good. Good. Cab mount. See more holes in the floorboards, but the frame itself is very good, especially when I'm used to seeing Pennsylvania rot. We could just put an aftermarket cooler on this and plug these lines. We'll cap these lines so that it doesn't leak out of the rad, and that will be our fix for this. Antifreeze in the transmission. I don't know how we're going to get it out of there. I don't think torque converters have drain plugs on them like they did back in the 70s. So I think that I don't know. I don't know if it can be saved without a full like tear down and flush. I don't know. It might function as if we can keep the foaming down. Alright, so our radiator's out. It is essentially empty. Let's see if any coolant comes out of it. No pink. So, you know, it's really hard to say. Your coolant system is a low pressure system. It maybe has 15 psi when it's hot and operating, and your transmission, what? I think those transmission lines may be 90 psi when they're running full blast. I'm not sure exactly, but they're considerably higher, you know, 3 to 5 times the pressure of your radiator. So you would expect it to blow transmission fluid into the, you know, not the other way around. You wouldn't expect a lot of coolant to get into the transmission, but you could expect transmission fluid to get into the radiator. So this may already have been replaced and they just hadn't gotten around to, I mean, I just don't know. This definitely doesn't look new, but it also, it looks newer. There's no date stamping on it, but the age of the plastic, you know, there's the stickers. Made in Canada. Can anybody get me a date code on that puppy? I mean, it's definitely not new, but it could be newer. Could the transmission have had just how, maybe the transmission got submerged underwater or something? I don't know, but something like this failing could definitely cause you some overheating issues, right? Because you take 200 degree, you know, even 50 psi transmission fluid and blast it into this. And this is going to overheat like almost instantly, and then it's going to start blasting coolant out. So, and they've already replaced the pump, the water pump, you know. So they were trying to trace this down, and they put an aftermarket transmission cooler on it. That's been there for a while. That didn't just show up yesterday. Or is that power steering? No, that's definitely, because they go under there. So, you know, we're just like following the clues, you know? We're following clues. I guess I need to find something that I can cap the in and outs of that and then pressurize that and see if it holds pressure. You know? Quit farting around and do a real test. All right, nobody cares about brakes, but we checked our booster, and so the rod moves. The pedal goes down and comes back up, and I'm sure this booster, well, I'm not sure this booster is bad, but I think this booster is probably, it's time for a rebuild. But the brakes should still, you know, work independent of a booster as long as the rod will move, which it does with the pedal. So we pulled the brake master off. It's baked. Can you see it? Yeah. It's that fluid there is indication that bad things are happening. So I guess we're going to replace it. Maybe we'll take it apart and see what it looks like inside, but it's going to be bad. So I don't know, maybe it cleaned out, we can get it cleaned out and working. I don't want to put a ton of money into this until I can confirm that most of the drive line is viable. You know, there's a lot of money to be spent here if you're not careful. And I could still, you know, take the carburetor off, sell the distributor, slowly back away, and only lose a little bit of investment of time. You know, sell the body. When you buy it, scrap value. It's not so bad. But yeah, stuff like this, I could always slap a new one of these. They're only 25 bucks or something. But I'm just throwing good money after bad if the transmission's never going to work again, because I just don't know if it's worth putting a transmission in. I don't know. I'm not sure what transmissions will fit here too. If the four-wheel drive transmission from a Ranger with a 3-liter engine will bolt right into here, then I could probably get one of those for $600, and then I could put it in. It's a lot of work to put one of those in. I'm really not equipped for that. I don't have a lift or anything. I don't know. I love working on I like the idea of it, but cost-wise, can we do it? Will it happen? I just don't know. I don't want to have to buy a radiator and a thing just to find out if it's going to even roll. And I really got to confirm a little more about what's going on with this vehicle before I start dumping money. So, but you know, you got to have brakes before it starts rolling under its own power. So that's where we're at. That's the kind of day we're having. It's a beautiful day. You can barely just see a few whiffs of white smoke, but it's 70 degrees in the shop with just a couple little pieces of wood on the fire, and it's about 60 outside. So we got a couple hours of daylight, and we're just gonna, you know, see where it goes. Can we get it? Okay, you can see. All right, so we've got to we want to see if we can push this in a little bit. just to see if it'll move, because it wasn't moving in the vehicle. So we're going to use a bolt in there. Got a little better leverage with this. Oh, there you go. So I don't know. Maybe the brakes are damaged in the drums. Maybe they were driving through water. That would explain a lot, huh? In an off-road vehicle? That's crazy talk. Okay, so let's get the snap ring kit. Come on. First engage snap ring pliers. Really? That's all we're gonna be. Okay. Perfect. No, I wanted brake fluid all over me. I don't know about you, but that was really what I was hoping for here. Okay, it's rebuilding time. The good news is I found the problem. The better news is I found other problems. The booster, it's bad. It was full of rust and the rubber thing was blown out. So what we've done, we've cleaned all the rust out of it. We opened it up. You just pry open those seams, opened it up, put some grease on everything, see it moves nice and smoothly. Do not hook vacuum to it, because it's just gonna, you know, it's a failure. It's done. It's toast. But at least we can bypass it now, because before it was binding and sticking, so you couldn't push the brake pedal. So the other good news is we took the brake apart, and it's bad too. The bores that the rubber boots run in, they are scored, they're bad. It's just, you can't hone them, just replace it. It's not even that expensive a part. But like I said, I don't want to, you know, the parts cannon is empty right now. We cannot fire it again. The money tree, all the leaves, look, all the leaves are down from the money trees, right? What we need to do is we need to make it so that while we're servicing other parts of the vehicle, like the transmission, I mean, I've never even put any kind of coolant in the block. There could be a big gaping hole out the side of the block that I haven't noticed yet, down under the manifolds. So I gotta get this to a point where I can start doing some proving. So far, the proving has been that it's a piece of junk. It's pretty much a piece of junk. So, once again, everything we own is junk. I love junk. I love trash. Anything dirty or dingy or dusty. Why am I attracted to very trashy, garbage things? Why? What is that about? Something is not right in my head. We're gonna bench bleed a little bit. I got it hanging on the, and all the fluid is pumped out completely. Brand new fresh fluid. It's crystal clear. I can see the bottom. Everything that was in there is clean, but like I said, I know it's going to leak out the back here, which is okay because the booster's bad too. So we're going to just try, push some bubbles. Oh yeah, get some bubbles going here. I'm just trying to get these keep these wires out of the way so we don't get brake fluid everywhere. This brake fluid's very corrosive. We don't want to get it everywhere. Okay, good. Now we're just... Oh, okay, so it's doing something up there. That's good news. The rear too tight. Whoa! I mean, it's moving. These things are happening. Things are happening. We got a little bit of rust through perforation there. Fill that up with some caulking or something. Seam sealer. I was thinking about blasting some paint on there. The thing of it is, this needs to come off because it is burned. And then the booster is bad. I'm going to have to put one on order, and I'll put a booster back in. Once, if I know it's really going to work, I'll put a real booster in and another master in. It's not even expensive, but it's $200 that I'm not dropping on a vehicle until I know that the transmission works. Missing bolts, you know, I always got to drop a couple on the ground, and once you do that, they're gone forever in these leaves. Anyways, yeah, it's back on there, and it's full of fluid, and let's go do a little bench test here. Like I said, you saw me bench bleed them. I just squished them a bunch of times until the air stopped coming out, and then I just tightened up the lines, and there's surely air in the lines. I'm not trying to say that this is done, because all these parts are bad. They need ripped off, back off, and replaced with something that, you know, comes from the parts store. And luckily this Ford is, you know, it's like basically a Ford Ranger, but a different shape. So a lot of these parts are easy to get, and cheap and interchangeable. Now we've got it in there. We've got our pedal connected. We got some of this stuff out of our way. And if you listen carefully, there's squeaky coming from the rear brakes. That means that fluid is going back of there. That'll be enough. That's all we need. We just need enough brakes so that it doesn't roll down over the hill. Because I gotta put it in drive and see if it'll move, you know. And you gotta have I gotta have brakes. I guess I could put wheel stops under it or whatever, but it's a lot easier to work with, you know, move around and service vehicles that have brakes, engines, transmissions. All those things make vehicles really nice. So, you know, there's one day, it doesn't seem like I got much done, but you should see the pile of mess. I did a couple hours of work on the vehicle, and then I need a couple hours to clean up, and the sun is very low on the horizon today. So, I got my sunlight. I did give myself something to do. I got something to do in the dark here. I could take this inside and work on it. I'm going to plug one end of this and put pressure to the other end and see if this cooler is blown out or if this is a replacement, you know. I talked to Buff Del Campo. He is he's sort of a radiator expert, and he said, you know, it seems strange that water would go from the coolant system into the transmission, because the transmission is generally a high pressure system. So you would think that it would go the other way, transmission fluid into the coolant. And I sort of agree with that, but I mean, I guess when you shut it off, maybe they start to commingle. I don't know. We know there's something wrong. We don't know what it is. You know, we don't know what we don't know yet, but we know that we don't know something. So we know that at least. And knowing is half the battle. So to plug up the holes and test this, and then I'll know more for next time. And when I know, you'll know, you know. Just a little, this is what we got done. We have brakes. I'm okay with just brakes today. I mean, I really needed brakes. And I've got the stove running. It's warm in the shop. I can work in here tonight. It's all coming it's all coming up Millhouse. Things are going pretty well. Oh, you know what I need to do? Is I need to take the skid loader over to the wood pile and grab some logs to bring into the garage, because it's supposed to rain and I want dry wood for the fireplace. So I'll give you 5 minutes of that, and that'll be the end of the video. So if you could stop now. Thanks for watching. We need to get some firewood. So our case is, our skid steer is working. Working. It needs a lot of working still, but it functions in a dangerous and sketchy sort of way. So it's perfect. So I've got this. I put this tin foil over the muffler so that rain doesn't go in the motor. Burned myself all over on the exhaust. I got some little clips here. Oh, this gas tank I think has a leak. This gas tank is junk. It's full of rust. Faithful old tank, but I don't know if it leaks out the seam or what. It's not like we can weld it. There's no foam thing in the top, so maybe that's part of why it's... I don't know, it drains in one day. It's fast. We need a different tank. So I'll go get one of those. I got a mini bike tank, which that'll be okay for now. That definitely won't give us any problems. Wiring. Starter solenoid. Better choke. More choke. We'll let that warm up. Oh, it's dead. That's alright. We'll start it again.